the whole week as far as quality goes, and this is one of the best horses. This is Pen Hill. You can see here he is a gorgeous horse. He's a son of Mount Nelson, and he was really keen, you know, in that Albert Bartlett at the Cheltenham Festival, and still managed to win. I think if they can just get this horse to relax, this track is tailor-made for him. He was a good flat horse, and I think he can put that flat speed to good use on this track. And when we come back here, we see another one of the Willie Mullins horses. This is Tin Soldier, and this horse was, you know, he was really strongly fancied in the Coral, and he actually ran a really good race. He was still bang there, you know, turning for home, so he's no back number. I just think in this race, I think he may just find one or two too good for him. The next horse that we see is horse number 2, Champagne Classic, one of the worst horses in training that they have for Gigginstown House Stud. Michael O'Leary's comment after this horse won at the Cheltenham Festival. He's still a Cheltenham Festival winner, though, and you write Gordon Elliott off at your peril. Behind that one we see a Noel Mead trained runner. This is horse number 8, Moulin Avant. This is the horse he's only had 6 runs. He's won 2 of them though, and he won a really nice race when winning here at Punchestown earlier in the year. He's a really nice type, this son of Sagamits. Then we see horse number 5, who is presenting Percy, himself a Cheltenham Festival winner. This horse was a runaway winner of that Pertemps. There was a lot of talk about his handicap mark beforehand, but he did plenty of talking himself when winning comprehensively. And last, but by no means least, is Bon Papa, who we see in here. He represents Willie Mullins. He's a horse who really disappointing when last seen at Cheltenham in that race won by Willoughby Court, the Neptune. This is one of the best races of the whole meeting, this Irish Daily Mirror 3 Mile Novices Hurdle. Who is going to win it?
So we've had a look at the runners in the preliminaries. They're just beginning to assemble in the collection area here ahead of the 3 Mile Irish Daily Mirror Champion Novice Hurdle. And Pen Hill is a well-supported favourite now, into 2-1. Here on track with presenting Percy, 11-4 Monolith, 7-2, 8 Album Photo, 10 Tin Soldier, 14 Bar. Any value, Kevin, that you could see at those prices?
Yeah, Tin Soldier is the one I've liked all morning for the race. He's halved in price. He was 20-1 on first show last night. Look, he's still 14s on the exchanges. I better stick with him. He has certainly shortened. And look, if you like Tin Soldier, you can probably make a case for Moulin Avant too, who finished second to Tin Soldier last time. But yeah, I'll stick with Tin Soldier. I just think for me the key is the step up and trip. The longer trip I think will really suit him. But what a lovely bunch of horses these are in the parade ring. You know, Pen Hill is a real standout. Monolith, in terms of next year, you know, what a lovely chaser he's going to be. He's a gorgeous horse. And presenting Percy doesn't look bad either, you know, in terms of his condition and everything else. This is a super race, and I just hope the 3 big guns can run their races here, because if they do, it'll really sort out the pecking order amongst them, and probably shows what the best staying novice around is.
Indeed. Presenting Percy just got a little bit wound up as he was going out of the parade ring, but he seems nice and relaxed down at the start there. He doesn't seem to have turned the hair really or got too warm, so a few horses getting a little bit warm below the saddle cloth here yesterday, but generally speaking this lot have been pretty well behaved. Monolith, you can just see there, just keen enough to get on with things. He did run a little bit keener than ideal, I thought, maybe choke out a little bit in the early part of the race at Cheltenham, Kevin. Probably testament to his ability that he was still able to figure the finish.
Yeah, I wondered, did the occasion get to him just a little bit, because it was a new experience for him, and it did seem to spark him up a little bit. He stuck to his task very well. I thought he'd every chance. He just wasn't quite good enough on the day. A little bit more low key here today compared to Cheltenham at least. So we'll see how he settles early on. You know, he's a horse that will be fully effective at 2.5, I think, and just with a view to the future, I'm sure Henry will just be hoping that he just drops his head and does it right, because it'll all help with a view to next season over fences.
Some of the participants there: Davy Russell, Mark Walsh was up, Brian Cooper, Ruby Walsh on board Pen Hill, and Paul Tennant, who of course rode Pen Hill at Cheltenham. He's on Album Photo today. David Mullins on Monolith, already a Grade 1 winner here this week in the saddle, and Danny Mullins, big ride for him, big opportunity here on board Tin Soldier, who continues to attract support now in the second colours of Philip Reynolds, 9-1 from 10 here on track. It looks as though he's going to be handy himself, and Monolith, the two Cousins in the plate, coming in at the head of affairs, presenting Percy. Album Photo just in behind with Champagne Classic. So for the first of our Grade 1 races on day 2 of the Punchestown Festival, let's cover commentary.
White flag is raised, they're off. Racing down the far side to the first of 13 flights, and the leader is Monolith. Heading now to the first is followed by Tin Soldier, and these two are being followed on towards the first flight. A few lengths back, Album Photo with Presenting Percy and Champagne Classic, Moulin Avant on the outside of Penhill and Bon Papa. Away from the first flight and continuing on towards number 2 in the first Grade 1 of the afternoon, the Irish Daily Mare Novice Hurdle over a distance of 3 miles. Monolith is the leader, followed by Tin Soldier's second, Album Photo, and Presenting Percy jumping up on the inner of him, and then Champagne Classic, Moulin Avant, the grey on the outside of Penhill in the mostly blue colours, and Bon Papa, his stable companion, out the back. Heading across to the 2 flights before the straight, flights 3 and 4 this occasion, and Monolith has raced on by 3 lengths under David Mullins with Tin Soldier, and Danny Mullins in second, Album Photo, Paul Townend in third. Being followed to this 3rd flight, Presenting Percy, Davy Russell on the inside of Champagne Classic, and Brian Cooper, both Cheltenham Festival winners. And then Moulin Avant with the Albert Bartlett winner Penhill, having won behind Bon Papa. Coming now to the 4th flight before the straight, Monolith the leader from Tin Soldier, Album Photo, and then little to choose between the next pair, Presenting Percy and Champagne Classic. The last 3 are Moulin Avant, Penhill and Bon Papa. Off the bend now for the flight in the straight, number 5, and the final flight next time. A little over 2 miles ahead of them now, and on straightening up, the leader is Monolith, followed by Tin Soldier, Album Photo, Presenting Percy, White Cap in 4th with Champagne Classic, Moulin Avant, Penhill and Bon Papa. Little change in the running order, racing now to the 5th flight. Monolith with Tin Soldier, closing up now to get within a couple of lengths with Album Photo, followed by Presenting Percy and Champagne Classic, Moulin Avant, Penhill and Bon Papa as they come up now to pass the judge. A circuit to go, and they're heading on towards the 6th flight. Monolith in the lead from Tin Soldier, with Album Photo in 3rd, Champagne Classic just goes a place ahead of Presenting Percy, Moulin Avant, Penhill and Bon Papa. Heading uphill now to the 6th flight, with Monolith the leader from Tin Soldier, then Album Photo, Champagne Classic, Presenting Percy, followed by Moulin Avant, Penhill and Bon Papa. Turning now to flight number 7 at the top of the course, and it's Monolith in the lead from Tin Soldier and Album Photo. Still no changes, with taking it in 4th place Champagne Classic ahead of Presenting Percy, Moulin Avant, Penhill and Bon Papa. Making the downhill run now to the flight, bringing them back to the point at which they started in the Irish Daily Mirror Novice Hurdle, and it's Monolith David Mullins, Tin Soldier on the outside, Danny Mullins, a break then of a couple of lengths to Album Photo and Paul Townend. Champagne Classic, Brian Cooper in 4th. Then Presenting Percy, Davy Russell, Moulin Avant and Sean Flanagan, Penhill, Ruby Walsh, Bon Papa, Mark Walsh. Over the flight at the bottom of the track, bringing them now to the final mile and a quarter, with Monolith the leader from Tin Soldier, Album Photo and Champagne Classic, Presenting Percy. The final 3 are Moulin Avant, Penhill and Bon Papa. Nicely strung out now, racing down the far side with 5 left to jump. Monolith the leader from Tin Soldier, 3 parts of a length to a length between them. A break of 3.5 to 4 lengths to Album Photo, who's followed by Presenting Percy and Champagne Classic. That pair still racing side by side. Moulin Avant, Penhill and Bon Papa. The flight across from the stands now, less than a mile to go. It's 5 from the finish. Monolith joined in the air by Tin Soldier, then Album Photo, Presenting Percy. On his outside is Champagne Classic, then Moulin Avant, as Bon Papa just relegates Penhill to be the back marker. Over the last flight down the far side, that was the fourth from the finish. 10 Soldier on the outside of Monolith, tracked by Album Photo, Champagne Classic presenting Percy, Moulin Avant, and then Bon Papa, and Penhill is the back marker. Half a mile left to go, they've 3 to jump, and matching strides, Monolith and 10 Soldier, break of just over 3 lengths to Album Photo, who's followed by Champagne Classic, presenting Percy. Bon Papa's gone up between Moulin Avant and Penhill. Now they're racing for the second last flight, and 10 Soldier picks it up. Heads Monolith, who's pushed along. Champagne Classic is closed into third. Album Photo presenting Percy, followed by Bon Papa, Penhill and Moulin Avant, beginning the run now towards the final flight, and a good run to it. And Monolith has come back on the inside to just grab the advantage off of 10 Soldier and Champagne Classic presenting Percy. Starting to close now is Penhill. Album Photo has dropped back, straightening up with 1 to jump. 10 Soldier, Champagne Classic, Penhill just behind them, Monolith on the rail, and then presenting Percy. The 5 are clear, racing to the final flight in the Irish Daily Mirror Novice Hurdle. Champagne Classic just picks it up now from 10 Soldier. Penhill has a couple of lengths to make up over the last. It's Champagne Classic for Gordon Elliott. On the outside, Penhill for Willie Mullins. Between horses, 10 Soldier as they race up towards the finish. It's Champagne Classic and Brian Cooper, who's gone to win it from Penhill. Second, and in third place is 10 Soldier, Monolith, Album Photo presenting Percy, Moulin Avant, a long way behind Bon Papa.
Huge win here for Gordon Elliott. He struck back, and I wonder will that prove to be a crucial blow in the race to be champion trainer this season. Champagne Classic, Cheltenham Festival winner. Many of us were guilty of underestimating him. He's been returned at 14 to 1, but he's got the better of some higher profile rivals here. And for a horse who was described by Michael O'Leary as the worst horse Gigginstown have after his win at Cheltenham, Kevin, he's not turned out too badly, has he?
Yeah, this horse has clearly been deeply slighted by those words, and has brought his ability to all new heights here, because this represents the best form of his life, and a big step in the right direction. He travelled, to be fair to him, and he picked up and he did everything right. Look, Ruby, to be fair, had rode a very quiet race, snuck Penhill into it. It certainly looked like he was going to go to win coming down to the last, but he just flattened out a bit. 10 Soldier stuck to his task well, but Champagne Classic, there wasn't a bob for him. And speaking to Gordon during the week, he maybe didn't. He doesn't quite think as little of him as Michael O'Leary, but he certainly was questioning whether he was a Grade 1 horse. He is now. He's gone and won one, and what an important one it is. Willie has had the 2-3. I don't know if he's picked up prize money behind that, but a huge win for Gordon. It shouldn't be underestimated. He wouldn't have expected much of any contribution to the fund here, but he's got the lot.
Yeah, Willie Mullins second, third and fifth, but it's Gordon Elliott who lands the bulk of the spoils. Let's get out to Mick.
Can do, yeah. Well, Brian Cooper, he's a man on a mission. He's in the next and he wants to get on with it. We're going to walk in with him here on this horse. What a performance.
Yeah, he did it well, you know. To be fair, the better ground has definitely brought out the best in him, and Camilla said here that he wins. She was fairly right.
I could hear her screaming when I was down by the gate.
I know, look, to be fair, Gordon prepped him really well. He was a good winner at the Cheltenham Festival, and he stepped up to Grade 1 company now and done it well.
Like stepping up in trip as well. You know, like Michael O'Leary said, he's one of the worst horses they have in training. He's not bad.
I know, I think Michael just to rope the press, he's dead right. He's plenty worse ones, but look, he's a fantastic horse now, and to win a Grade 1 as well as a race at Cheltenham Festival is great place by Gordon.
And for you, you're not finished yet, are you? Big race coming up. You've got a big ride, haven't you? Like, if you forget his last run, he's a player.
Yeah, definitely. You know, he didn't take part in the Gold Cup. Just, I don't think he's a fan of Cheltenham. He's gone there twice and haven't really performed. And if you can draw a line through that now, hopefully he'll run well.
Well done. Camilla, this is down to you.
Oh, he's just awesome, isn't he? He's just brilliant. I'm so proud of him.
Well, you did brilliantly. Like, you were chuffed to bits and you were screaming. I
told Cooper as he went out that he could do it, and he did, so I'm proud of him.
Oh, well done.
Yes, Champagne Classic. You've got to start just slightly questioning the management and Gigginstown, haven't you, really? forward thrust that if you back Penhill, you're thinking, great, look at this, we're taking off, and then he sat. And when you look at what happens after the last, I don't think that Penhill hasn't finished off the race. He's just not shown an electric acceleration, but he's run all the way to the line. He's not closing fast, but he lost all his momentum just as he was gaining his momentum for me. I know there are reasons for it. It appears that Penhill is a strange horse and he has to be held up to the last minute. But I really feel all momentum was lost just as he was beginning to fly. The message was, don't fly yet, boy, don't fly yet. I'm no champion Irish jockey. I've not ridden the number of Grade 1s that Ruby has. But I have seen enough races lost by loss of momentum, and for me, Penhill had all the momentum, and the momentum was taken away from him. As for this horse, well, he'll probably be down the knacker's yard, won't he? They think he's so bad. I do think this is a poor renewal of this race, incidentally. I do not think this is a good race. I don't think these are world beaters in any way whatsoever. But fair play to the winner. But I don't think that was a good renewal. There's Gordon Elliott. He's had a little trim, hasn't he? Short back and sides. Very easy to forget what incredible things Gordon Elliott has done with his career. Amateur rider at the pipes, learned everything there, and in a very short space of time is on the verge of being Ireland's champion trainer. Well done to Brian Cooper. Champagne Classic is a classic in the Daily Mirror.
He had a busy enough preparation for that, I suppose. He ran in the 2 qualifiers and then another race just before Cheltenham, and maybe that has just taken its toll on him. We're at the very end of the season now, but he'll have another day, and I believe the plan might be to go chasing with him next season. And look, we won't give up on him yet.
Elliott, fresh from his success, Champagne Classic, and it was a classic.
It was, yeah. Mick, it was a surprise that he won in Cheltenham, and bigger surprise he won here today. But listen, that's what racing's all about. It's great, yeah.
You just find a key to a horse, and suddenly it like opens the door.
To be honest, if going around during the winter and getting better in lesser races, maybe the bit of better ground helped him. But it's great, it's nice. Nice chaser for next year.
Yeah, but the big thing is, you know, you're nearly 270,000 ahead now.
Do you know what?
On Saturday, that'll count.
Yeah, listen, if I'm £7 ahead on Saturday, I'd be delighted. But listen, we're have to have a couple of winners on the board. So at least I've had a couple of winners and I can enjoy it a little bit now. And if we get better, I've done my best. And what more can I do? You know?
All you can ever ask.
Yeah.
And this horse here looks fantastic walking around. He really does.
I swear to God, I don't know what happened to him in Cheltenham. He's bet half the 3 fences. I think the favourite's going to be very hard bet. Jack Adams, a good horse. If we can sneak a bit of prize money again, I'd be happy.
Good luck.
Cheers, Mick. Thanks.
Yes, Gordon Elliott able to relax a little bit now in his own words. And here are the latest standings. And Kevin, I'll be amazed if Gordon doesn't know down to the last decimal point exactly how far in front he is. 4,129,030, 4,129,000 odd. He's amassed now to Willie Mullins 3,860,000. But look at the betting, it hasn't changed too much despite that win for Champagne Classic, which you'd have to say was unexpected even by the Elliott camp.
Well, that's it. What makes it so valuable is that it was unexpected. You know, it wasn't really one that would have been considered in the projections. And look, it's a great result for him. He'll need a few more like it, but he's going very well. And one that hasn't really been talked about, Gordon's only 3 winners off beating Willie Mullins' record for the most winners in a season. He's up to 190 now. The record stands at 193, so he could well beat that. Would that be a grand double?
We saw him there just having a chat with Danny Mullins down at the last fence, where they're gone down to watch our big race of the day, the Coral Punchestown Gold Cup. And there is the Cheltenham hero, Sizing John, an even money shot to pull off the big double here. It'll be a big treble in actual fact after that win in the Irish Gold Cup at Leopardstown, previously the Stan James Irish Gold Cup. Jackadam next best at 5-2, fourth behind the favourite at Cheltenham. Coney Gree, the brilliant winner of the 2015 Cheltenham Gold Cup, at 6-1, 8-1 Outlander, 14-1 Champagne West, and Ulf Fleming Star is 100-1 shot, though obviously much bigger, as you can see on the exchanges there. Casemiro beat Times Arrow and Tadween at Lingfield, 10-1, 5-1 joint second favourite, and 6-1 the starting prices there. How do we see this tactically, Kevin? Jackadam back down in distance today. Do you think maybe there'll be a bit more use made of him or not?
Ooh, that's an interesting question now.
You'd imagine Coney Gree's going to make it, although Champagne West might have something to say.
Well, you know, Coney Gree's coming back from a gap, from a break. You know, we know he likes forceful tactics, probably show him the best effect, but only the Bradstocks will know how tight he is for this. You know, and if he isn't 100% spot on, they might not want to really make it a forceful test on him, just in terms of his own fitness. Jack Adam, I'd be very interested to see how he settles today. I thought he ran a little bit free at Cheltenham. They may have adjusted their preparation of him for this with a view to him not being quite so fresh. And if that's the case, they might be willing to go a little bit more forward with him. It's a very interesting race tactically. Look, Sizing John, purely from a neutral's point of view, I'd love to see him going back up what he did at Cheltenham. You know, we need stars in this game. This fella's had a tough old time of it. You know, and the Irish Gold Cup and the Cheltenham Gold Cup were quite close together this season. Jesse has had 40 days to freshen him up again. But it's not a straightforward task. You know, Cheltenham form does not always work out at Punchestown for good reason. So from a neutral's perspective, I hope he goes and does it. I couldn't really be advising anyone back him at even money. You know, at the prices right now, Outlander makes appeal. You can completely forget about his run at Cheltenham. Way too bad to be true. And his Lexus win was very good in the context of all the rest of the form here. So he's the token selection, but hoping Tyson John goes and wins well.
What a race in prospect then. Here we go for the big one.
The white flag is raised. They're off. Away they go in the 2017 Coral Punchestown Gold Cup. They approach the first of 17 fences, and it's Champagne West and Coney Gree on the inside, the first to land. A break then to Jack Adam with the veteran Fleming Star, followed towards the second fence, the first stitch by Outlander, and finally the dual Gold Cup winner Sizing John as they race safely out over the second fence. And striding on now is Coney Gree, the English challenger and 2015 Cheltenham Gold Cup winner. Opening up now a clear early advantage under Nico de Boinville, followed by Champagne West and David Mullins, and in third place Jack Adam, the mount of Ruby Walsh. Jack Adam twice second in the race as they come across now to fences 3 and 4 before the straight. Behind Jack Adam, Outlander and Brian Cooper, in between Sizing John, Robbie Power, Fleming Star and Andrew Lynch. Facing up to fence number 3, out in front is Coney Gree, followed by Champagne West and Jack Adam. Sizing John goes 2 positions ahead of Fleming Star and Outlander. On they come now to the 4th fence before the straight, and out in front is Coney Gree, followed by Champagne West and Jack Adam. Sizing John's red cap just over in 4th, ahead of Fleming Star. And a reminder there for Outlander, who drops out to the back of the field as they swing into the straight first time for fences 5 and 6. Coney Gree, the leader from Champagne West as they straighten. Jack Adam a clear third, who's tracked by Sizing John, Fleming Star, and finally Outlander. The first fence in the straight, the 5th. Coney Gree, followed by Champagne West and Jack Adam. Sizing John is 4th, and then Fleming Star and Outlander. Racing between the 2 fences in the straight as they near number 6 and the final one next time. 2 miles from the finish now, and it is Coney Gree, the leader from Champagne West, and Jack Adam. Sizing John is 4th, followed by Fleming Star and Outlander, as the 6 runners pass the winning post with a circle in front of them in the Coral Punchestown Gold Cup. And it is Coney Gree who enjoys a lead of about 5 lengths under Nico de Boinville, with Champagne West, David Mullins in 2nd, Jack Adam, Ruby Walsh 3rd. Behind Jack Adam is Sizing John and Robbie Power, Fleming Star, Andrew Lynch, Outlander and Brian Cooper. Fence number 7 coming up on the uphill run. Coney Gree, followed by Champagne West, Jack Adam, Sizing John, Fleming Star and Outlander. Intermittently ridden over the last number of fences is behind at the back. Going now to the next, which is fence number 8 and 10 from home. And nicely spaced out, led by Coney Gree. Up and over by 4 to 5 lengths, followed by Champagne West, Jack Adam and Sizing John. A clear break now to Fleming Star and not travelling Outlander. Making the descent now to the 2 fences at the bottom of the track. Coney Gree maintains a 6-length advantage, followed by Champagne West, Jack Adam, Sizing John, Fleming Star and Outlander. Continuing downhill now to the next 2 fences with Coney Gree the leader, From Champagne West, Jackadam sizing John in fourth. Fleming Star and Detached is Outlander as they race away from the next of the ditches and continue on now to the final mile and a quarter or so. With 8 left to jump, Coney Green, Nico de Boinville still out there in front of Champagne West, Jackadam sizing John and Fleming Star, and pulling up is Outlander. They've 7 fences left to jump as they make their way into the back straight. Just over a mile to go as they face the first of 3 in a line in the back straight. Coney Green out in front of Champagne West, with Jackadam closing on Champagne West, followed by Sizing John and Fleming Star, the back marker of the quintet. First fence now in the back straight at their point of departure. 6 left to jump. Coney Green by over 8 lengths now to Champagne West, who's almost joined for second by Jackadam. 2 lengths to Sizing John, and they're out in front of Fleming Star as they race out over the fence across from the stands and heading on now to the last ditch, which is 5 from the finish. Coney Green, Nico de Boinville continue at the head of affairs, followed by Champagne West and David Mullins. Third is Jackadam, Ruby Walsh the outside, and they're tracked by Sizing John and Robbie Parr. Clear from Fleming Star and Andrew Lynch. They turn with 5 furlongs to race and 4 fences to jump. And it is Coney Green's lead now has been cut in half. It's down to about 4 lengths. Champagne West half a length in front of the third running Jackadam. 2.5 lengths then to Sizing John as they come across to the 2 fences before the straight. They've got 4 left to jump. Coney Green, Champagne West, Jackadam, Sizing John. They're clear from Fleming Star. Coming now to the 4th fence from the finish. Coney Green, Nico de Boinville, followed by Jackadam, who just landed second, Ruby Walsh. And about to join him on the outside is Sizing John and Robbie Parr as Champagne West drops back to 4th. They've 3 fences left to jump. Coney Green, Jackadam, Sizing John, the 1, 2, 3, followed by Champagne West. Racing round the home turn, a good run out of the final 2 fences. Coney Green just niggled along, is 2 in front off the bend from Jackadam, and Sizing John is ridden to try and close on the outside. They straighten up with 2 fences to jump in the Coral Punchestown Gold Cup. On the left, the red jacket, Coney Green, Nico de Boinville, Jackadam, Ruby Walsh in the centre. Red cap, Sizing John, Robbie Parr on the near side. They're on the run down towards the final fence now. Jackadam in the centre from Sizing John, Coney Green the inner. Coming down the last now, it's Jackadam from Sizing John, Coney Green on the inside. They're racing now towards the finish, and what a finish it is! Jackadam, Sizing John on the near side is getting to him. This is unbelievable. Sizing John and Jackadam. Sizing John and Jackadam. In 3rd place is Coney Green, well clear of Champagne West and Fleming Star.
Well, what about that? Sometimes you come on here to Punchestown and you build up these races and they don't quite live up to expectations with horses at the end of a very long season. But Kevin, what a spectacle there. The 2 Gold Cup winners sandwiching Jackadam at the last. Jackadam just pecks at the back of it, but Sizing John so game under pressure. Jackadam battling away on the far side. It is a photograph, but we think Sizing John might have just nailed him in the dying strides. Some race.
What a horse race that was. Absolutely fantastic. You know, we were trying to assess how well Robbie Power thought he was going there, turning in, and he comes off the bridle 2 out, and you think you're in big trouble, and he starts to respond. Jackadam just pecked at the last one. He really needed a big one, and Sizing John got the big jump he needed, and even after he got it, you weren't sure if he was going to have enough to get up, but he duly did close home. And what a run from Coney Green.
Unbelievable. Absolutely superb, wasn't it?
Well, he seemed to go a proper gallop in front. He jumped great. He's so clever when he's not quite right, and he's stuck on really well, and just a lack of a recent run maybe caught him out at the very end. He hit the last there as well, to be fair, but a super run, super training performance. That was the 2nd last, sorry.
Sizing John has been confirmed the winner. Let's get reaction from Mick.
Well, Puppy Power, he is milking this for all it's worth, and I think the smile from the guard who looks after this horse says it all. Well done.
Thank you.
Puppy, what a race.
Yeah, I mean, Mick, there was no hiding place out there. As you'd expect, it was, yeah, as you'd expect with Coney Green in the field. And full credit to his connections. He's run some race after a long layoff, you know. I was never that happy, you know. off the bridle, he just felt a bit flat to me, to tell you the truth, you know. And he had a hard race in Cheltenham, and it's credit to the horse. He's only a 7-year-old. He's come back out, and when he had to dig deep, he did.
Dug really deep for you though, didn't he? Because he was running almost on memory in the end.
He was. I mean, I was all out. I was all out, and he's just a very good horse. He's earned a good break for the summer, and we can map a plan out from next year, you know.
Ever get bored riding Grade 1 winners, do you?
And that is for sure. Like, if you get bored of riding Grade 1 winners, you want to give up and do something else.
Well done.
Thanks a million, mate. Cheers.
Yes, unbelievable. Incredible run Robbie Power is on at the moment, and he was part of a wonderful horse race there. Coney Green, Jackadam upsides at the last. Jackadam rose in front, just pitched on landing as he had done at the second last at Cheltenham, and Sizing John seized his opportunity. I thought he was going to edge past and win by maybe a half a length or more, Kevin, but Jackadam really did not go down without a fight and made him pull out all the stops. Interesting to hear what Robbie Power was saying there, but I think Punchestown, everybody connected with this race will be thrilled with what this has produced.
Oh, absolutely. Look, and we probably didn't see the very best of both of them here. You know, I'd agree with Robbie Power and what he said there. I wouldn't be surprised if he was a little bit flat. You know, he didn't seem... I wasn't sure Robbie was all that happy coming down to 2 out. And you know, the horses really pulled out for him when he needed big jumps. He got them. Jackadam, you could really see it from that head-on shot we just saw there, just how badly he pecked at the last, and he really did need that. He just clipped the top of it and pecked, and he's only beaten a very short distance. That has probably cost him, and it's unlucky for him. Jackadam, you know, he hasn't won as many Grade 1s as perhaps his ability suggests he should have. He hasn't always been fortunate on the biggest days, and again today I'm sure there'll be ruining one as one that got away. But look, credit to the winner. He's so game. You know, he showed all his class at Cheltenham, but he really showed an attitude here that sets him apart as well, because he maybe wasn't at his very best, but he nailed the last two when he really needed to and stuck his head down. He's an absolute smasher of a horse.
He really is. Coney Green got a great reception when he came into the number 3 spot, but we're going to have the biggest roar of the week, I would imagine, here as Sizing John returns in triumph after this incredible treble he's pulled off. The Irish Gold Cup at Leopardstown, the Cheltenham Gold Cup, and now the Carl Punchestown Gold Cup, continuing this astounding run for his connections. Robbie Power, Jessica Harrington and Alan and Anne Potts, of course. The owner and jockey took the big race yesterday with Fox Norton as well, and they've got several more fancied runners to come over the rest of the festival, but really wonderful stuff. And Kate Harrington, you can see there, who's riding in the bumper very shortly, kitted out in the crazy quilt colours for Sunday, just offering her congratulations to Robbie Power, Jessica Harrington and the whole family there, her daughter Emma, Richie Galway, all on hand as you might expect. And at the age of 7, Kevin, there should be so many more good days ahead for this horse, shouldn't there? If he gets a clear run, manages to stay injury free. What he's achieved this spring is little short of sensational, but who knows, the best could be still to come.
Yeah, it's unbelievable how far this horse has come in a short space of time. What was it? He finished behind Dovan 7 times, something like that. You know, he looked like an absolute nerdy horse that just wasn't quite up the top level, and it just goes to show the difference, that a step up and trip, perhaps the change of trainer as well. Perhaps Jessica Harrington suits this horse really well. It's impossible to know, but he clearly does stay very well. And it's been unbelievable. In the space of 3 runs, he's gone from an early horse to, you know, one of the biggest stars in the sport. And God, he's earned it today. That was a really tough performance.
Willie Mullins has just offered his congratulations as well to Jessica Harrington and the team. Sizing John, the 10-9 on favourite, wins an absolutely thrilling Punchestown Gold Cup. We'll have more reaction when we return in a couple of minutes' time. But it wasn't, to me, the
nuzzle the turf, and it's just unfortunate for him. He's been an unlucky horse on a few occasions, and it'll be very frustrating for his supporters. But look, that's him. That's as good as he is pretty much there today. Sizing John, you'd like to think that on another day Sizing John would beat him as well as he beat him at Cheltenham. You know, I think he's done well in the circumstances to win today. He maybe didn't get all the credit and attention he deserved after Cheltenham, which is unusual for a Gold Cup winner, but hopefully today will really secure him in people's minds as being the best around.
3 wonderful horses. Let's hope they all come out of it well and we see them do battle at a later date. These were the scenes a short time ago. Robbie Power beaming from ear to ear yet again. Alan and Ann Potts in the centre there, receiving the trophy from Simon Clare of Coral. Jessie Harrington enjoying another huge day here at her local track, to great applause. And when that was all wrapped up, she had a chat with Mick Fitzgerald.
Jessica Harrington can do no wrong at the moment, but do you know what? Sometimes it's nice to be here and watch proper racehorses strut their stuff.
Oh, I know. It was a proper race. They went a hell of a gallop from the flagfall. And, you know, you had to gallop and jump in that race. Robert said he was never really that happy with him. You know, it's his 5th race this year since Christmas, and it probably just told.
But I always think the true sign of a racehorse is when they win, when everything goes against them. And that looked like that today.
Yeah, I did. You know, everything was going against him, and he did. He put his head down and he battled, and he just showed sheer guts.
You know, the thing with a horse like him now is he can enjoy his holidays, can't he?
He's going on his holidays now, and let's hope he's all right. He pulled off a front shoe as well, which probably hadn't helped him. I don't know when he did that, but he had, you know, so, you know, he had lots of things, as you say, went against him today.
But the world is his oyster. He's still only a baby, isn't he?
He's only 7, so now we'll see where we go.
Very well done.
Thank you very much indeed. Thanks.
Yes, the First Lady of Irish Racing, that is for sure, Jessica Harrington. What a season she has had. And Robbie Pat has well and truly come of age, and his old man, clearly very proud, stood next to him there. Old puppy, and there's young puppy, all the puppies there. And a guy who's really just had some horrific injuries. Anyone who's been watching our feature on Robbie Power over the last week or so will know that. But Grand National hero as well. We move on. That's what good shows do, and this is a pretty good show, even with The Voice and Kevin with us tonight. Fairnay at 6-4. Sunday at 7-2. Poliwa at 4. Carter Mackay was the big shout early in the season at 15-2. Paloma Blue at 12s. Go another one at 16, and Del Oro at 25-1. After the Gold Cup, it's kind of wind down at Punchestown. Kevin Blake just can't wait to get into Naas High Street. That's all he's thinking about is the court. He's thinking, oh God, it's the At the Races dinner tonight. But the moment that's over, I'm straight in the court hotel. That's where I'll be. So if I can just quickly chat with the bosses. That's the usual thing, isn't it, Gary? Get the chat with the bosses over the At the Races dinner done as quickly as possible and straight to the court.
I haven't seen the itinerary, Matt, but I'd say you mightn't be too far wrong there. Certainly for some members of the team, at least. Several of us have an early start tomorrow. Well, I say early, obviously, comparatively speaking. Late start with the first race again around about 3:40, I think, tomorrow. But as you say, the show goes on, and we have this Racing Post Champion bumper coming up with another Cheltenham winner looking to double up here in the shape of Fiona for Gordon Elliott and Jamie Codd. We saw them out watching the Gold Cup on the track there a short time ago, and Fiona produced a brilliant performance to come from the back of the field to win at Cheltenham, Kevin. And she's a lot shorter today than she was then. Is 11-8, which she is now, from 6-4 here on track, a price that would tempt you?
No, not for me now. But it is a very, very notable market move. When they first priced this race up, it was 2-1 Fiona, 11-4 Polly Roy. And clearly, one can only imagine there's a fair amount of input from the market, from the yard involved in this market, and they very much divided. All the supporters for Fiona. Polly Roy is a difficult horse to weigh up. He's very highly regarded. He did his job first time out, not beating a whole lot, but did it in good style. We'll know much more about him today, but the market is suggesting that certainly up against Fiona, that there might only be one winner today. But of course, we know with Champion Classic, of course, home reputations don't often come to fruition on the track. Some days a super interesting horse against them, to be fair, and was sneakily fancied by quite a few good judges going into Cheltenham, and was denied a run late on with a slight veterinary issue, and seems to be good and strong in the market all day today. He won at Leopardstown, didn't win by very far, but it was the style in which he did it was very good. And Carter Mackay is being somewhat ignored today, given that he was very well fancied for the Champion bumper, and I just thought he was too raw. You know, the two bumpers he won leading into into that, where small fields, steadily run. You know, he did it impressively, but he didn't learn a whole lot, and I think Cheltenham was just a whole different experience for him, and it just caught him out. I wouldn't be surprised if he bounces back today. And that Paloma Blue, I wouldn't like to rule out. I was impressed with him when he won for Henry de Bromhead at Fairy House. Again, big chaser in the making, but I wouldn't be surprised if he runs well.
He's a good horse, I think, that Paloma Blue, and better ground today might even just elicit some further improvement from him. That said, he's going to need to step up. He beat a horse of Gordon Elliott's into second that day, Oakley Hall, who himself won a bumper after. But he's taking on, I think, a real high quality of opposition today, in particular in Fiona and Someday. Polly Raw held in very high regard too. Big sales purchase after he won his point to point. 219,000 or thereabouts the difference between Elliott and Mullins going into this one, and certainly the betting suggesting that it's the new kid on the block who might have the upper hand in this €100,000 contest. Willie Mullins actually won it last year with Blow by Blow, who is one of those horses that was transferred to Gordon Elliott subsequently, though he didn't make it to the track this season. Might be one to look forward to next term, Blow by Blow. Be interesting, do they see if he does make it back, do they go chasing straight away or give him a go over hurdles first? Huge big horse he is. Willie Mullins, though, Matt, has won 5 of the last 6 editions of this. The only one to put a stop to that sequence was the Liquidator for David Pipe back in 2013. But Fiona really is being hammered now, isn't she? 5-4, Matt.
Yeah, I was there that day with the Liquidator. What a performance that. If he can't win this, it's time to say, ta-ra, Gordon, enjoy being champion. Fiona, 5-4, 100-30 Someday, 9-2 bar. If Elliott adds another 60 odd grand here, surely that is it, isn't it, lads? It's it, isn't it? Concede, wave the flight flag, and then head straight to the Bagnall for a good glass of champers.
You might be right about some of that, Matt. I don't know about the whole lot of it. I don't think he'll be conceding if this goes wrong. Anyway, let's see.
Fiona begins well on the inside to just show up in front. In second place is Polly Roy, and towards the near side is Paloma Blue. These 3 are followed by Someday, who's in 4th place. Ahead of the 5th running Go Another One, then Deloro racing on the inside of the grey Carter Mackay at the rear of the field. They race on now past the stands to head up the hill towards the right-hand turn, and Fiona, the Cheltenham bumper winner, and Jamie Cod in the lead, followed in second place by Polly Roy in company with Paloma Blue, who now moves second. So Paloma Blue moves into second. Someday has improved into third, relegating Polly Roy now to be 4th, and they're being followed by Go Another One with Deloro and Carter Mackay. Making the turn now to head towards the top of the track, and shortly to make the descent down the far side, with Fiona striding along in front of Paloma Blue second. Someday is third. Polly Roy is next in 4th. A couple of lengths then to Go Another One. Carter Mackay is on the outside, followed by Deloro. So they make the descent right over on the far side of the track, with in the lead Fiona showing the way to Paloma Blue. Someday is third, and Polly Roy is followed by Go Another One, and then Deloro and Carter Mackay. In the lead Fiona, Jamie Cod showing in front, Paloma Blue and Davy Roach second, followed by Someday and Kate Harrington, Polly Roy and Katie Walsh next, followed by Go Another One and Barry O'Neill, Carter Mackay, Patrick Mullins on the outside of Deloro and Stephen Clements. Beginning to make their way on up now towards the halfway point, and the Racing Post champion INH flat race, and Fiona leads Paloma Blue. In third is Someday, and in 4th is Polly Roy. After them is Go Another One, Carter McCoy and Deloro. Right across the stands with 7 furlongs to go. Fiona in the lead, from in second place Paloma Blue. Couple of lengths to Someday, and in 4th place is Polly Roy. Go Another One, Carter Mackay and Deloro, as less than 6 lengths cover the field, heading towards the final 3/4 of a mile. Fiona in front of Paloma Blue, followed by Someday and Polly Roy. Go Another One, Carter Mackay and Deloro, as they begin now to make the run to swing across to the 5 furlong point. Fiona leading from Paloma Blue second, Someday is third, Polly Roy just niggled along in 4th, Go Another One, Carter McCoy the grey, and they're being followed by Deloro.
Racing to the final half mile now. Fiona in front of Paloma Blue. Someday improving on the outside of Polyroy. Just in behind them go another one with Carter Mackay and Deloro all in contention now as they make the run across towards the straight. The 7 runners covered by just about 4 lengths. Fiona leads Paloma Blue and Someday. Polyroy is next. Go another one, Carter Mackay and Deloro. As they race now for the approach to home. Fiona, who's been in front from the start, leads Paloma Blue. In 3rd place is Polyroy. Someday is 4th, and then Carter Mackay on the outside. About to breast the bend to turn for home. Fiona is just over a length in front of Paloma Blue. Polyroy is 3rd. A break then to Deloro, who's challenging Someday, and then comes Carter Mackay. They're straightening up for home now, and it's Fiona in front. Paloma Blue is 2nd, and 3rd is Polyroy as they race now to the final 200 yards. It's the Cheltenham bumper winner Fiona striding along in front of Paloma Blue, and in 3rd is Polyroy, and running up towards the finish. It's all the way for Fiona, and Gordon Elliott and Willie Mullins trade blows yet again, and this one goes to Gordon Elliott. The Cheltenham bumper winner wins, and another one for Jamie Codd in great style from Paloma Blue. In 3rd is Polyroy, and then came Go Another One.
And just look what that means to Jamie Codd there. It's been a brilliant season for him, and well, it's looking very likely now that he's going to be champion amateur. I think he's 4 ahead of Patrick Mullins after his winner yesterday, and now the brilliant Fiona. I think we're justified in calling her that, Kevin, because this mare is a bit special. Cheltenham, she had to do it really the hard way after everything went wrong at the start. Back to the more forceful tactics today that worked so well at Ferryhouse previously, and she has fairly caned the geldings here.
Yeah, she was deadly here, to be fair. Jamie Codd was able to get her off on terms today and really control the pace from the front, and she's quickened up, and it's just been very straightforward for her. If you were involved in the big plunge to knock her all the way into 11 to 8.5, I don't think there was any real moment of concern. A few of the big rivals were in trouble quite a way out. Polyroy's ran a good race. He's a big chaser in the making, and he just got a bit outpaced around here. I think the track was maybe a bit sharp for him. And Paloma Blue, look at the size of him. He's another big chaser in the making. He's run a fine race in his 2nd start, but it's all about Fiona here. As good a bumper mare as we've seen for a little while, I think.
And a real punt landed as well. 11 to 8 she was levered into near the off. Smashing run from the 2nd. Henry de Bromhead will be thrilled with Paloma Blue. Big step up in class for him today, but he moved really powerfully through the race and stuck at it well. Thought he might be vulnerable to Polyroy, maybe coming past him up the run-in, but he saw him off easily enough. But just no match for the winner, who looks out of the top drawer. Daughter of Calanisi, of course, stands up at Boardsmill Stud from the family of Solarina. Let's get out to Fitzy.
Well, Jamie Codd, this is a picture I'm sure he'll be keeping, and for Mary Nugent leading it up, I'm sure that's one she'll hang on the wall too. These mares don't come along very often, Jamie Codd.
No. To say when you have a good mare, you should keep a hold of her, and God, we're lucky to have this one. She's a real gem, you know, and I'd say she's just a very, very good filly.
But different today, you know, everything went smooth today compared to Cheltenham.
Yeah, like Cheltenham wasn't. She got a fright. Just the boys came around her and bullied her basically, and she just got a fright at the tape. But today was a different story. She's out of Solarina pedigree. She likes to do her own thing, and no, I'm just, listen, it's brilliant. Delighted to be a part of the whole thing, and it's brilliant. Yeah.
But to ride horses like this is special.
Yeah, it is special. Of course it is. I had an opportunity when I started off. I rode all the Willie Mullinses for 3 or 4 years, and now I'm in the position where I'm riding a good few for Gordon, and that's what you want to be doing. Like, you want to be riding good horses, and you know, it's fantastic.
Well done.
Thanks, Mick.
Yes, what a day, what a season for Jamie Codd. Big win as well for Gordon Elliott, who extends his advantage over Willie Mullins. He had the 3rd for good measure there. And just thinking back to some of the good mares that have won this in the past, Kevin, we were looking back through the history there. Aries Girl for Pat Flynn back in 1994. She was a smashing mare, won a stack of bumpers and very good over hurdles as well. Lissa Puerig for John Kiley, and Like a Butterfly, of course, wonderful mare. Refinement won it as well for John Neal. But this one, on the evidence of what we've seen at Cheltenham and today, is going to be up there with the very best of those, isn't she?
Well, if she's as good to hurdle as Solerina was, who she's quite closely related to, she'll be just fine. If she's as tough and as durable as her, she'll be some mare. Because I don't think Solerina was much of a mare in bumpers, but she came alive over hurdles, and she's just a super mare. And you'd have to be delighted for Jamie Codd, not just for the season, not just for this win, but just in general. He's a super lad and a great rider.
Yes, he is indeed.
Always good to see Rebecca Curtis. 2-1 Polydam. Right down the middle at 6s, Jetstream Jack at 7, who promised much early in the season but hasn't quite delivered for me of late. Vintage Vinny at 10, Mr. Diablo at 11, Irish Cavalier in there at 12, Vent de la Côte at 12, People's Park at 12, and Sizing Granite 14-1. So runners heading down to the start, Polydam, Walsh and Mullins. First run for Mullins, son of Trompolino. And lads, the key thing to this is whether you think that Nantes form from the 23rd of September 2016 is real, or the Otoe form on the 15th of October 2016. I'm pleased you're there to decipher that Nantes and Otoe form.
It reads very well to me, Matt, I'd have to say. And I tell you what, looking at him in the parade, he's a fine horse as well. Lovely action, lovely way about him. And as has been pointed out by a few people, he was in the Grand National up until the last minute. He missed the cut for that. He was also kind of hovering around the cut-off point for the Irish National. I don't think they declared him in the end. So we've had to wait a while to see him make his debut for Willie Mullins, but he gets his chance today, Kevin, and the market is telling us that this is a very well handicapped horse. Time will tell if it plays out like that on the track, I suppose.
Well, that's it. Look, you look at his French form and he has plenty of experience. He's not unexposed in France, certainly, but they have him here. He switched to Willie Mullins. He's off 137 here, and he's been back from 5-1 was the first price up yesterday, and he's into 2-1. He's been strong all day. They clearly think he's very well handicapped, and those lads don't miss too often in situations like this. They've got a yard full of talent on which to judge these horses. They use a lot of schooling races, so they have a chance to test them if they want to. And the market sport has been very, very heavy, and you really have to respect it. Does that make him a bet at 2-1? I instinctively would say no, but look, you have to really respect it.
Plenty of alternatives there if you do want to look elsewhere. It's a race where most of the horses involved on a going day could be capable of taking a hand here. I suppose that's the very nature of a handicap. Right down the middle has been running well. He's second in at 6-1. A few quid about for Jeff.
But it wouldn't shock me if he did. He's not thoroughly exposed. And if you look back to this meeting last year, he finished second to Avon 2 in the Novice Handicap, which has worked out really well. And look, I know he's £9 higher here, but he really handled the place well last season. So hopefully, back here again, he'll run another big one.
Father and son team of Philip and Luke Dempsey teaming up with Mr. Diablo. He's currently an 11-1 shot. And of course the Potts and Robbie Power alliance in action again here with Sizing Granite, trained by Colin Tizard. So Jonathan Moore there, who won this on Irish Cavalier last year, Davy Russell, Jack Kennedy, Rachel Blackmore is on board People's Park. He'd have a chance if he could recapture some of his form in the first half of the season. He just has gone off the boil a bit based on his last couple of runs. Ruby Walsh, it's been a day of frustration for him so far. So they're being called in for this Guinness Handicap chase. Winter Magic in the blue blinkers looks as though he's probably going to be up there. Mr. Diablo likewise, and Devil's Bride I think is another one who probably won't be too far away. Favoured in the familiar Munir and Swed colours that have already been in the winner's enclosure today, with say jerseys on the inside there about 2/3 of the way back. Let's join Des Cahill then for race number 6.
White flag is raised and they're off. As they race towards the first, Draycote Place is prominent, with also Winter Magic in the firing line. Mr. Diablo moving up between horses, and also Vicomte de Noya. Right with them on the outside is Sizing Granite, and now coming through Devil's Bride moves to pick it up as they approach the turn into the straight. Racing on to fences 2 and 3, and Mr. Diablo, Luke Dempsey joined on the outside by Devil's Bride and Dylan Robinson. These stride on a few lengths in front of Winter Magic, who's racing in third. Then comes Sizing Granite and Vicomte de Noyer, the grey. Towards the inside is Polydam. As they come away from that fence and on now to number 3, which will be the last next time in the Guinness Handicap Chase. Devil's Bride and the joint top weight in the lead for Dylan Robinson, over a couple of lengths in front. Mr. Diablo is second. Winter Magic is third on the inside as they race on up, and lost one there. It was right down the middle, and Jack Kennedy and right down the middle, both on their feet as they pass the winning post. Racing on now towards the 4th, and out 6-7 in front is Devil's Bride, who's showing the way. Mr. Diablo is racing second, and then disputing third. Winter Magic, Vicomte de Noyer, Sizing Granite is next, and they're being followed by Polydam, who's on the inside in company with Draycott Place and People's Park. Just behind them is Vintage Vinny, and a little bit slower at the back there is Vent de la Cote. They turn and race now towards the 5th, and out clear is Devil's Bride, disputing second place Mr. Diablo. Winter Magic, Sizing Granite is 4th, and Vicomte de Noyer is next. Polydam is 6th on the inside, being followed by People's Park, and then comes on the outside of them Vintage Vinny. Jetstream Jack is towards the inside, followed by Akito as they race downhill and begin the run now towards the 2 fences right over on the far side. In front, Devil's Bride by 5 to 6. Mr. Diablo is second. Third, Sizing Granite. 4, Winter Magic. 5 is Vicomte de Noyer with People's Park on their outside. Polydam is on the inner, being followed then by Vintage Vinny, Draycott Place, Jetstream Jack and Irish Cavalier Nikito. They're clear of Vent de la Cote. The race on now towards the next, right over on the far side, and begin now to make the run towards this fence. The leader, Devil's Bride, not so far in front now, moving second. Sizing Granite, followed in third place as they race down the far side and improving. People's Park has moved into third with Winter Magic 4 and Mr. Diablo next. Vicomte de Noyer and Polydam with Vintage Vinny right there on the outside. After them comes Draycott Place, Jetstream Jack, and after them is Irish Cavalier Nikito, who's the back marker. They're racing now towards this fence. Devil's Bride almost joined on the outside by Sizing Granite. Mr. Diablo, Winter Magic, People's Park. Then comes Polydam on the inside of Vicomte de Noyer. Vintage Vinny comes next with Draycott Place, and they're being followed by Jetstream Jack, Irish Cavalier and Akito. They go now to the last over on the far side, and this will be 5 from the finish. And Devil's Bride a length in front of Sizing Granite second. 3 lengths then to Mr. Diablo, People's Park and Winter Magic. They're being followed by Polydam, and after them is Vicomte de Noyer with Vintage Vinny, Draycott Place, Jetstream Jack. The last grey is Irish Cavalier Nikito. The back marker, 10 lengths cover them as they swing past the 5, 4 left to jump in the Guinness Handicap Chase, and Devil's Bride continues in front, only marginally now from Sizing Granite second. People's Park has gone into third place. Mr. Diablo, Winter Magic, followed by Polydam. On the outside is Vicomte de Noyer, tightly grouped now as they come to 4 from home. And it is on the inside, Devil's Bride, Dylan Robinson, a slight mistake, and a faller was Jetstream Jack. They're on the run for the third last, and Mr. Diablo also went at that, and so too Devil's Bride. So they're on the run now to 3 from home, and left in front, Sizing Granite, Robbie Power in the lead now. In second place, People's Park and Rachel Blackmore. They're being followed in third by Vicomte de Noyer. Vintage Vinny trying to stay on. Polydam is moving through on the inside. Draycott Place and Irish Cavalier next. So they round the turn to straighten up for the final 2. In lead is Sizing Granite, pressed by People's Park. Just in behind them, Polydam. On the near side is Vicomte de Noyer with Vintage Vinny, an Irish Cavalier trying to stay on. A mistake by Polydam, sizing Granite in front. Now pressed by People's Park, an Irish Cavalier, and Vicomte de Noyer, the two greys to the outside. But it is Robbie Power over the last as they race in the final 200 yards. Sizing Granite striding out in front. What a time it is for Ann and Alan Potts. Colin Tizard, the trainer of this one, sizing Granite, and Robbie Power, who can do no wrong. It's a 1-2 for Colin Tizard and the Potts. Second home, Vicomte de Noyer, and then came Irish Cavalier, People's Park, and Vintage Vinny.
Well, Robbie Power doesn't even look surprised anymore. He probably feels he can just about walk on water at this stage. But Kevin, this horse has obviously had his problems since his Grade 1 winning days as a novice when he was with Henry de Bromhead. But if you were with him today, he'd run over hurdles last time after finding the champion chase a bit too much. I would say from the word go, you were feeling on good terms. He seemed to be loving it. He was jumping brilliantly. And when the favourite made a mistake at the second last, that was him cooked. It was all over, wasn't it?
He was very sparky today, a real rejuvenation, because like you say, he won a Grade 1 novice chase and he beat God's Own at Aintree. You know, that was looking very good at the time, that form. He looked like he could potentially make into a champion chase horse, but he went completely the wrong way for Henry. And I tell you, he wasn't doing much for Colin Tizard when he had him early on as well. But this represents very much a return to life. And like you say, it was on from early on, because he did go with a bit of spark today and jumped very well and had the race put to bed quite a way out here.
1, 2, 3 for the visitors as well, we should point out, with Colin Tizard also sending out the second. Vicomte de Noyer has run well, and last year's winner Irish Cavalier back in third. Polydam got a nice run through on the inside of Vicomte de Noyer, turning in, Kevin, but he had made a bad mistake early on in the race when Winter Magic jumped across him, and that mightn't have done him any favours, but he was well beaten in the end. Luke Dempsey is up after his spill from Mr. Diablo. Let's go out and rejoin Mick.
I don't you'll never get bored of this.
No, definitely not, Mick. I'll tell you, I rode this horse in Taunton on the Thursday 10 days before Aintree in an ordinary handicap hurdle. He finished a bad 5th. I had breakfast with Colin the next morning. I told him to put him on the list for the sales. He rang me the other day and said, I think you should ride Sizing Granite. He's in great form, working the best he's been. I'm not going to take no credit for this, because if I had my way to gone to the sales, Colin is a genius. Fair play to him.
You were committed on him down to the last. You obviously spotted a stride.
Yeah, I was just sitting for a bit, and then one came up and I said, I'll take that one. So it was grand.
But it's unbelievable stuff, this, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, as I said, I was asked by a reporter, could you imagine your season going like this? I said, well, you want to have some imagination. It's been unbelievable.
Listen, enjoy every bit of it. You deserve it.
Thanks a million, Mick. Cheers. We'll follow these lads in here.
Fair play to Robbie Power there, not afraid to have a laugh at his own expense. He thought this horse should have been cut from the Potts team and go to the sales, but he looked right back to, if not quite his best, something like it today. Top performer on his day, as we know, and just got into a beautiful rhythm today under a man who is riding with buckets of confidence the other days for the favourite. But hopefully, Kevin, this won't be a false dawn. Hopefully Sizing Granite can go on from this. Just wonder, would they keep him on the go now, do you think, and maybe even look at something like the Galway Plate?
Oh, I wonder. That would be interesting now, because he did look a 2-miler, to be fair, for a lot of his life. He clearly does stay now, and you know, the Galway Plate isn't much. It's more of a stamina test than this, but not much more. It might not be a bad shout now. What, he's off 146 here. He's probably going to be mid-150s. Yeah, it could be an interesting shout now, but when, like you say, when he's in good form, having been in the wilderness for so long, it might be prudent to kick on. He clearly handles decent ground. Might not be a bad shout at all.
14-1. He's been returned today. Hope you're on. We're back after this. It's only in 10-1 at the moment. Easy enough to back. There is a few quid around for Shimmer's Rock now, into 10 from 12 here on track. She actually went to the Cheltenham sales after winning it at Gorham Park, but obviously didn't make what her connections thought she was worth. And that Navan form line obviously is attracting a few people here, Kevin, particularly with the change in the ground. Shimmer's Rock and Dawn Shadow second and third behind the very impressive Cracker Dancer that day, but I think both of them could be more at home in this surface, and they both got their supporters there.
Yeah, Dawn Shadow won it down Patrick prior to that, and it was beaten 21 lengths at Navan, so you can see why she was opened up at 20-1. But look, if you believe in that form line, 20-1 looks a bit overs, but I'm not as keen on it, but if I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
So they're just gathering down at the start then. Half the odds is a big price here for a horse that won well at Fairyhouse the other day for Noel Mead. Won the mare's bumper there on the final day, and Noel's going great guns at the moment, but really easy to back. For then, for the Weatherbys General Studbook, EBF Mares Flat Race.
Off and running in the Weatherbys General Studbook European Breeders' Fund Mares Flat Race, and making their way up now to pass in front of the stands, right against the rail. The leader is Frazzle Express, with Jelen prominent in the centre, and these are closely followed by Shimmer's Rock, and towards the outside is Jody's Gift. These have been followed on the rail by Mystic Theatre, as they race now to make the approach to the turn to take them up away from the stands, where Frazzle Express and Barry O'Neill show just in front. Jelen and Katie Walsh are racing in second place, and they're followed towards the rail by Mystic Theatre, Patrick Mullins, Jody's Gift, Finney Maguire. Up on the outside of Shimmer's Rock and Richie Deegan. Just in behind them is Half the Odds, Danny Benson, followed away from us by Minutes to Midnight, who's in mid-division, and towards the inside is the Princetonian. Just after the Princetonian comes Dawn Shadow, as they race up the far side with Vanellope next, and Bluegrass Princess brings up the rear. They're racing downhill now, and still going along in the lead, taking them on the descent down the far side. Frazzle Express with Jelen in second place. Jody's Gift is close up on the outer. Mystic Theatre is on the inside of Shimmer's Rock, and just in behind them towards the inside is the Princetonian, with alongside Half the Odds, racing on now to make the turn to take them right parallel across from the stands, where Frazzle Express continues in the lead. Jelen is second, and then on the inside is Mystic Theatre. Shimmer's Rock and Jody's Gift right up towards the outside. These are being followed then by Half the Odds in company with Minutes to Midnight, and then the Princetonian towards the inside. Vanellope is next, and they're being followed right over on the far side by Simone, as they continue on the way now with just over 7 furlongs or so to travel. Frazzle Express just the leader, Jelen close up on the outside, followed by Jody's Gift disputing third, with Mystic Theatre who's fourth. Shimmer's Rock is 5, and 2 lengths then to Minutes to Midnight in mid-division, with Princetonian alongside, followed by Half the Odds. After them is Dawn Shadow, and towards the outside is Vanellope as they race on over on the far side. Bluegrass Hill still towards the back with Simone. They're making the run now to take them across towards the 5 furlong point, and it's still Frazzle Express just the leader. Jelen is second, Jody's Gift, Mystic Theatre, Shimmer's Rock. They're being followed by Minutes to Midnight, and against the rail is the Princetonian. Half the Odds is racing next. Vanellope is making ground on the outside of Dawn Shadow, Simone and Bluegrass Princess. They're tightly grouped heading inside the final half mile. Frazzle Express and Barry O'Neill in the centre. Jelen, Katie Walsh right with them. Joy's Gift and Finney Maguire. These 3 in front of Mystic Theatre, Shimmer's Rock, Minutes to Midnight just behind. Vanellope is on the outside, then Half the Odds, the Princetonian, Simone, Dawn Shadow and Bluegrass Princess trying to make ground round the outside, but Frazzle Express with the rail advantage turns in just ahead of Jelen. Then making ground, Minutes to Midnight moving into third. Mystic Theatre is after them in fourth, and then Joy's Gift. Homeward bound now in the Weatherbys General Studbook race, and on the outside Minutes to Midnight and Jamie Codd race up to hit the front. From in second place Frazzle Express, then followed Mystic Theatre, and after them from the back is Bluegrass Princess, but in front is Minutes to Midnight. Mystic Theatre throwing down the challenge, and it's Jamie Codd and Patrick Mullins as they race up towards the finish. On the far side, Minutes to Midnight from Mystic Theatre, and Jamie Codd wins and takes a giant step towards his championship. Patrick Mullins second on Mystic Theatre, Bluegrass Princess and Simone next ahead of the Princetonian.
Yes, absolutely right. What Desi said there, a giant step, because obviously not alone has Jamie Codd ridden the winner here, ridden a big double on the day. Kevin, he's beaten his arch rival Patrick Mullins into second and just managed to get first run on Mystic Theatre. It was tucked away on the inside there, going well, turning into the straight while Jamie was building up a head of steam, and I'm afraid just when she did get into the clear, Jelan held her in there actually for a while. Didn't have enough time to claw it back.
I'd say Jamie Codd knew what he was doing there too. He was leading to his right, knowing what was going on in his inner, and that probably contributed to Patrick's woes a little bit as well. But you know, she did have time enough now to go get him if she was good enough. I don't think she was quite good enough. This is a fantastic result for Jonathan Sweeney, you'd have to say. Not a very big yard. This would be a big win. She's a super mare. She's unbeaten in 3 now, and showed a great attitude for pressure there as well. They can't have gone quick here because the field was very, very congested turning in. There was traffic problems in behind, but Jamie Codd has largely avoided it. And he's having such a good week, such a good season, and I'd say it's almost mathematically impossible for him to lose the champion amateur crown now at this stage.
I think unless Willie starts putting Patrick up on some of the Grade 1 hurdlers and chasers maybe in the last couple of days, which is very unlikely obviously, but minutes to midnight confirming herself a really top prospect. And Mystic Theatre finishing well, but to no avail in second. I think Bluegrass Princess might have just got third. Let's get out to Mick once again.
Well, Jamie Codd, do you know what? I watched that race and I thought just before the turn in, I saw you make a move and I thought, you know what? You were almost getting in front of the other horse so that you could actually be in the box seat.
It's a brilliant training performance there. Jonathan Sweeney won a point-to-pointer last year in Linkstown. It's a year, well over a year ago, and then to come back, won a bumper in Wexford, and to come here today and step her up to a graded race, fantastic bit of training, and I had a great run the whole way. I just wanted to keep her out a little bit so that she'd breathe and relax. But once I turned in, I got stuck into her. She hasn't stopped, you know, and just kind of, it's more idling more than anything, Mick, you know.